Hi guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about a topic that I think a lot of people, myself included, struggle with, and that is perfectionism. Now, you know that feeling where you think that you need to be flawless, which often leads to you feeling stressed, anxious, or never satisfied. Yes, that feeling. Now, you are not alone, and perfectionism is something that affects a lot of us. But the thing is, it doesn't have to rule or control our lives. So in this video, we're going to talk about and explore what perfectionism really is, the signs of perfectionism, how it can impact our lives, the causes of perfectionism, as well as I'm going to give you some tips that will help you to overcome or deal with perfectionism. No, I have not fully overcome perfectionism, but I am on the journey to doing so, and because of this, I want you guys to be on the journey with me so that we can all overcome this thing called perfectionism and become the best version of ourselves. Now, what exactly is perfectionism? Now, perfectionism is a personality trait that is identified by a constant pursuit of perfection. And this can be different aspects of our lives, which might include work, personal achievements, relationships, and even appearances. Now, some signs of perfectionism include perfectionists usually set unrealistic goals for themselves, and we sometimes experience anxiety or we get frustrated when we think we have fallen short of these goals or these standards. Now, you might find yourself engaging in excessive planning, checking, and constantly seeking reassurance just to make sure that your work meets your exceedingly high expectations. Now, a little backstory: before I started my channel, or before I even posted my first video, I made about 2 or 3 videos and I edited them, and because they weren't perfect, I deleted them. And I think about a week later, I made another one and I was not going to post it because I was like, no, I can't edit and this just doesn't look right. But I made up my mind and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I did. And after that, I felt great. And no, it's not as perfect as I wanted it to be, but I came to realize that it's not about the video being perfect. It's not about the quality or the editing being perfect. It's about the information that is in the video. So perfectionism can lead to you procrastinating because you don't want to start something and then you're afraid you might fail or you might make mistakes. I mean, wanting to be excellent or to excel at something, it's not a bad idea, but it can have a detrimental effect if you put your expectations too high, and it will affect your mental health as well as your overall well-being. Now, this brings me to my next point, which is how perfectionism can impact our everyday lives. Now, perfectionism can lead to you developing chronic stress, depression, anxiety, low self esteem, and can even cause physical health problems. It can also hinder or it can stop your creativity, your motivation, and your personal growth, as well as sometimes you may even be afraid to take risks or to even try new things because you're afraid that you might not meet your own unrealistic expectations or standards. I mean, if I had listened to that little voice in the back of my head telling me that my videos weren't perfect as the others and I shouldn't do it, then I wouldn't be here today doing something that I enjoy and bringing you guys on the journey along with me. Now, perfectionism can also put a strain on your relationships because you might have unrealistic expectations for yourself as well as others, and you might struggle with accepting imperfections in your partners, which can lead to conflict and resentment. Now, perfectionism can be caused by a lot of factors. Now, some of these factors include number one, environmental influences. Now, growing up in an environment where there is an emphasis on success and criticism can contribute to you developing perfectionism because the people around you are constantly pressuring you to be perfect. For example, they might compare you with someone else, making you feel as though you have to be perfect in order to get their approval. But you don't need their approval. You don't need to be like anyone else. Now, the next reason is it can be used as a coping mechanism. Now, perfectionism can be a coping mechanism in order to deal with low self esteem or insecurity. I can attest to this because that's one of the main reasons why I developed perfectionism tendencies in the first place. And I think it's something that a lot of young adults struggle with because when you look on social media, when you're scrolling, you see a lot of models, a lot of celebrities, and you think that because you don't look like them, then you're not perfect. Fun fact: I used to be teased a lot because I was skinny, and I tried everything in order to gain weight, and it didn't work. Over time, I learned to accept my body the way that it is, and I learned that you don't need to be perfect because 80% of the time, the photos of the models or the celebrities that you see online are either photoshopped or they had surgery done. So you will never look like them, and that is okay because you are perfect just the way you are. And another cause is the fear of being judged. Now, you're scared of being criticized or judged by others, so you go the extra mile in order to not make mistakes or not to be anything less than perfect. So now I'm going to give you some strategies that you can use to help with perfectionism. Now, the first one is to acknowledge and recognize that you're a perfectionist. Becoming aware of your perfectionist tendencies is very important because it sometimes stays in the background and be the reason behind your decisions and your actions without you even realizing it, without you even knowing. So reflect on your thoughts and your behavior in order to identify the pattern. It's that little voice in the back of your head constantly saying not good enough or it needs to be better. When you acknowledge that voice, you're bringing it to light and you're becoming more aware of how it affects you as well as others around you. Now, the next step is to set goals. And when I say set goals, I mean realistic goals and not the overly ambitious goals that might and could set you up for failure. Set goals that are achievable. So write down your goals and break them into smaller and manageable steps, and it will allow you to make some progress. It's like climbing a ladder one step at a time and boosting your confidence along the way. Now, the next step is to practice self compassion. Now, some of us, we tend to hold ourselves to exceedingly high expectations. And I mean, yeah, it's good to have high standards or high expectations of yourself. But when you're a perfectionist, you're overly critical about the mistakes that you make. You should treat yourself with the same kindness and the same compassion that you tend to treat others who are in the same situation as you with. Now, the next step is to challenge your irrational beliefs. Now, we perfectionists, we tend to think that we shouldn't have any flaws in order to be worthy of love or respect. But let me tell you something. You need to start challenging these beliefs because, as I said before, no one is perfect, no one is flawless, and you are worthy of love and respect no matter what anyone thinks. You need to start replacing these thoughts with rational and compassionate thoughts. For example, instead of saying I have to be perfect, say I'm doing my best and I'm going to do my best and only my best is good enough. Now, the next step is to take breaks. Now, when you're trying to be a perfectionist, it can be exhausting and it can lead to you experiencing burnout because you're constantly pushing yourself to meet your unrealistic expectations and standards. So take breaks and recharge your mind and your body, and then you can continue with your task with renewed focus and energy. Now, the next step is to celebrate your progress. Being a perfectionist can lead to you focusing on the end results and overlooking the progress that you make along the way. You should celebrate all your victories, no matter how big or how small they are, because this will help you to reinforce positive behavior and it will motivate you to continue moving forward. Now, the next thing I want you to do is whenever you're feeling overwhelmed by your high expectations, I want you to ask for help. Ask for support because whether it's from your family, your friends, or a therapist, because overcoming perfectionism is not as easy as one, two, three. You're going to face a lot of challenges along the way, but if the burdens get too heavy, it is okay to ask for help because asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you've been strong for way too long. And the next thing is to stay mindful. Now, try to stay in the present and be aware of your thoughts and your feelings by practicing mindfulness. It also helps you to identify your perfectionism tendencies and it can help you to choose the right way to respond to each of them as they come. And lastly, have fun. As I said before, trying to be a perfectionist can be exhausting and draining. So remember to have fun and enjoy the process because life is more than just achieving perfection. It's about having fun, it's about learning, growing, and connecting with others along the way. And there you have it. So we talked about what perfectionism is, the signs of perfectionism, how it impacts your life, the causes, and how you can overcome perfectionism. Now remember that it's about the progress and not perfection. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to share it with someone who could benefit from learning how to break free from perfectionism. Also, place your thoughts on this video in the comment down below. And remember that you are amazing just the way you are, and I will see you in the next video.